What's up, guys? Furuki Bros here, back with another video. Today we're going to be quickly discussing our thoughts about Toy Story 4. We're going to be going into full spoilers here about everything that happens, and we're going to give our thoughts about this film, the franchise as a whole, and then if there's any open ends for the future of the franchise as well. So before we get into it, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Shiraz Faruqi, and I'm joined by my brother Zayan.
What's up, guys?
My cousin Umar.
Yo.
And my other cousin Samir.
What's up?
So like I said, today we're going to talk about Toy Story 4. So let's just get right into it and I'll let Zion start us off. What did you think about Toy Story 4? Full spoilers. You can talk about every aspect of it and we'll keep moving down the list.
Well, I mean, the first thing that jumped out to me was clearly animation. It was just leagues ahead of every other animated thing. Well, I mean, some are like specialized, like Spider-Verse, but in terms of what Disney does, this is like their peak of animation. The quality was so nice, especially in that first scene with the rain. Everything was so detailed. In terms of the story, I thought the story was good. It felt more like an epilogue than an actual next film. This was a story about Woody. It wasn't really about anybody else. It was about his character journey, his arc. Overall, I thought it was good. The ending was good, where he obviously leaves them to stay with Bo Peep and finds his new purpose. Compared to the other films, it's up there. I mean, all the Toy Stories are really great, but I think this is, like, if I had to do a ranking, this would be last. That doesn't mean it's bad, but I don't think I don't think it captured like the Toy Story feeling the other ones.
I mean, I'll jump in. Like, being last in a franchise that is all 5 out of 5 means, like, you're still good. Like,
yeah, obviously.
For me, like, all 4 are so good that even if you put one last, for me, Toy Story 4 probably wouldn't be last. It's either between Toy Story 2 or Toy Story 4 for my last spot. But then again, like, in a franchise like this that's this perfect, last doesn't mean bad anymore. But I'll jump into Umar. What do you think about this film? What are your thoughts, like Raw's thoughts coming out of it, and then like where does it rank in your top 4?
So first and foremost, I think it was great from start to finish. Really good film. And same thing I noticed too. Like when me and Samir went to watch it, like the animation style and the way they started the movie was very nice. Like the way it started off like I think the Disney stuff came up and it was playing like the Toy Story theme, and then it got dark, it like rained or whatever. Like the kind of way the movie the story was structured, the way it kind of went was nice. And then as Zian mentioned, like it's a story about Woody. Like it's about his journey, like and about how he could move on from the last kid or whatever. And it's like really, it's very much about him. Like it's the end of his kind of arc. And I know we're gonna get into it later, but like the future, there's still a future within this kind of I don't know if you call it a universe, but like
franchise,
yeah. Like within this, there's still a lot of stories that can be told about the other characters because they focus so much on Woody and Bo, like that. And shout out to Forky, man. That guy's, yo, man.
Yeah, he's Samir, what do you think about the movie? What are your thoughts?
I thought it was great. I mean, what really popped for me is that, especially for a kids movie, the cinematography was so on point. It was crazy. I really wasn't expecting like the cinematography to be that good. And yeah, the story was. I felt like the story was better than the other Toy Story movies. I don't know what you guys are watching.
Why you put it above even 3? I thought 3 had emotionally. I think what 3 was presenting to the audience, especially with the scene with the incinerator and the fire, and then the final, like the passing of the torch. Even though I'll admit the opening montage sequence of Toy Story 4 was like perfection. Like the way they showed Andy growing up, and then they perfectly like transitioned into him giving the toys to Bonnie. The way they redid that scene was really well in Toy Story 4, but you got to remember where the origin was. It actually happened in Toy Story 3 in totality. So I feel like the Toy Story 3 had a more emotional heart to it. But then again, this movie is like a Woody story, meaning you're really focusing on one guy. Toy Story 3 and even 2 and 1 even for that matter all of them had like multiple characters that you focus on. Then again, we should be fair, they did focus a lot on Bo, and they completely revolutionized her character. Like, she was very one-dimensional in the first three movies, and
More like 0-dimensional.
she wasn't even in the third movie. And the way they brought her back, and I would even say the voice actress, the voice actress that played her, I think her name is Annie Potts, right? She really did a good job. Like, she's the same voice actress from the first movie,
Yeah, she
but
killed it.
yeah, you could tell the way she
She really sold the emotion.
yeah,
of
she
character.
sold. Yeah, she sold it really well. Like, it's like a nomad version of Bo. You know, she's like living on her own, and she really broke like I was talking to Zion about this, but like you can compare her a little bit to like a good guy version of like Stinky Pete, you know, from Toy Story 2,
Yeah.
because Pete from that movie was also very much like, why do we have to always be loved by a kid? We can have our own life too. But in this case, he wanted to stop Woody and Jesse and Bullseye, yeah, from having their own lives as well. So that's his evil. But in Bo is the exact same thing, where she moved on from a kid. Like, she doesn't need Andy, or who's Andy's sister's name? Molly, yeah. So it's an interesting arc, like, for those two. Really, the movie's about those two in particular. And then let's just go into, again, who the character is, Woody, and let's talk about what we thought about the ending of the movie and where it left off. And for me personally, it was very bittersweet. Like, I felt like the third movie's ending was very emotional, but it was such a happy ending. Like you were sad that, okay, it's done now and Andy's moving on, and but all the toys are together, and it leaves on a note that, you know what, it's a happy ending for these guys, and they're gonna have another second chance with a second kid. But then Toy Story 4 comes around, and it becomes a deconstruction story, and it's about, oh, you know what, you thought it was gonna be a happy ending, but guess what? Bonnie moved on from Woody, and Woody's not even in the rotation of toys, so he feels very much helped. Yeah,
You can tell from the start that he's out of place, because his role used to be, he was like a leader. He was like their figure that they followed, and from the beginning, you see that he's getting in the way of the other toy, who's their leader,
Yeah.
and who's like the leader of the new toys. And you can already tell from being that, all right, he has a hard time fitting in at that point. So I think in terms of the ending, it was just a logical way to go. I mean, the whole journey, his whole journey in the movie was to find his purpose, and obviously he thought it was just to keep Forky safe for Bonnie, but it was really just to find his own thing to do, like his own
yeah.
Bro, he
reason
gave
to
his
be.
freaking voice box away to that girl. And then
Dude,
she
that was
started
actually
to
darker
cry.
than I expected. Like, they freaking did a surgery on him. They took out his voice box, and he's
Yo,
like,
dude, you should have saw Samir's face in that moment.
Honestly, they let her get off too easy for that.
yeah. I think she was actually pretty evil for that. But no, but then again,
No,
he
Woody
gave
was
it.
too good. He was like, all right, save Forky, and you can take it.
That's because Woody's like a freaking superhero, man. Like, he doesn't care.
He's like Cap, dude.
Yeah, he is. He's like Captain America of this universe. If anything, he's a little better. But facts only. But Umar, what did you think about the ending though? Like, what are your thoughts? Like that final sequence where he hugs Buzz one last time, and all the toys hug him. Like they let him go. Like, what do you think
Bro,
about that?
Listen, let's all not lie. I know we're all grown up, but we all shed some tears.
Loki.
Loki, that's not
But
lie.
did you like the creative decision? Like, well, what are your thoughts on that?
So here's the thing: when it was happening, when he was like letting him go, like when he was, because they did like this parallel thing where, like, Bo like touches his hat and like touches his face or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like at that moment, I was like, okay, he's leaving like he left before, right? And then he starts walking back, and the camera does this weird thing where it's not even the camera, like Woody kind of like looks up like slowly at Buzz, and then I knew this is the end. I knew this right here is gonna be the end. They're all standing there. They're all gonna say bye to him, and the kind of way they showed all of that and the way they built up to that moment, is why I feel like, and like that's why I feel like this movie's a little bit more. It's a little bit more emotional because it's so character driven and it's so like narrowed down to Woody's perspective.
Yeah.
Like, because of that, I feel like this movie's more emotional. The other movie had some scares, like, bro, when they were in the garbage thing and freaking Thanos, aka Lotso, was like standing there like laughing like a little bum. Low key, like I felt like it was done low key.
Yeah, and it's one of those
Because
things
they were
where
all holding hands and shit. I was like, well,
Yeah.
bro, what?
it's good. I mean, that's a testament how good these movies are. I mean, all four of these movies all have such great character moments. I mean, the first movie. I mean, I was gonna bring before I passed it to Samir. I was gonna bring this parallel. Like Toy Story 4 and Toy Story 1 are a good parallel to each other because Toy Story 1 Woody was Andy's favorite toy, and the second Buzz Lightyear came and Buzz became Andy's favorite toy, he was just consumed with jealousy and hatred, and he was straight up wanting to kill Buzz just to get Andy back to being his favorite toy again. But then the same exact thing happens to Bonnie. Bonnie lets go of Woody completely within a year, even. Like, she was in nursery, I think, in Toy Story 3, and now she's in kindergarten in this movie. So it's within a year or two, she lets go of Woody, and Woody's in the closet, like he's done. But he doesn't react the same way he did in Toy Story 1, where he's just very jealous and stuff like that. He's like, okay, this is a part of life. And obviously he is hurt because that one sequence where he's so obsessed to going back in the antique shop to get Forky, and everyone, including Buzz, Bo, everyone's telling him, like, why are you going back? It's over. It's just a fork anyways, who cares? And Woody screams, he says, this is all I have left anyways, like, and that's straight up. First of all, Tom Hanks kills it in this role. Like, he does a really good job as Woody again.
Definitely.
Like, and I think he did a better job than anyone else. I think Tim Allen's a Buzz. We can talk about Buzz in a minute.
Get to that later.
We'll talk about Buzz in a minute. I thought Buzz regressed a little bit, but I think Woody and Tom Hanks, like, that is what a pairing, man. That's an animation pairing, like, in history. But let's transition one more time, and I'll give it to Samir. What did you think about the ending of Toy Story? Like, do you think it was a better ending than 3? Like, if this was the final movie of Toy Story, are you happy this is the way to leave it off? Samir.
Yeah, bro. Dude, thing about Toy Story 3 is that his whole thing was that he was letting go of Andy, and Andy's like a piece of shit.
Yeah, you're growing up, okay. Yo, man.
But this is when
Why
he
do
was
you
like,
piece of shit too? What are you talking about?
yeah, low-key Bonnie's the worst. Alright, but in this one, he's letting go of like everything he's known about his whole life. Like, his whole livelihood is being a toy, but now he's like useless, like you said.
Yeah, but
Well, actually, he said that his whole purpose is to bring happiness to a kid, and if the way he gives Bonnie her happiness is to keep Forky safe, then that's why. That's
but what do you think about specifically the idea of him being separated from his gang? Like, his main toys who have been best friends, like, Rex, Ham, Buzz, the whole gang, Potato Heads, like, all of them. He's separated from his family in a sense because, Andy's his family, but so are those toys. So what do you think about that idea of him separating with Buzz especially?
You can bring it back to Toy Story 2. I don't think he has that much connection to them.
I mean, he still loves them. Like, those are his family.
Of course. Yeah, but he was willing to give them up to help somebody else, to help Jesse and Pete and Bullseye not go to storage. So I feel like that's just how he is, like, he feels like, all right, he has to stay with both of them. I don't think it's that hard of a decision for him because he was already going to make it once.
Yeah, and he's selfless. The character is very selfless too. Like, the way they made him is like he said to Bo, right? To Buzz, that I never leave a toy behind ever, right?
Yeah.
Like, you see, like, even like how he how Gabby or whatever.
Yeah.
First of all, I hated her like the whole movie, and then like I kind of switched up a little bit. But actually, no, I hated her after too. But
but she got yeeted.
He like didn't leave her. I knew he wasn't gonna leave her behind. Like, I knew that when everyone like gives up, kind of like Woody's still like.
Yeah, and they did a switcheroo because Lotso and Pete both had that. Oh yeah, we could be a good guy, could be a bad guy. In the last and third act, they became full bad guys. And then for Gabby, they did the opposite thing where she seemed like she was a bad guy the whole way, and then the ending, she pulled it off. She had one really good monologue, is when she kind of told Woody's life back to him. That was a really good scene. Like, I love that moment.
Yo,
like,
that scene was
like
crazy.
that was really like that was dark.
Deconstructed.
Listen, why did they deconstruct Woody better than deconstruct Batman Superman?
Oh my god! I knew this guy would bring this up.
Are you gonna bring that in?
Why are you gonna bring that in?
I said they did it better, Loki. Listen,
It kind of Loki did, or whatever.
all right, but
yeah.
I don't really care.
all right. Either way, let's talk about quickly. Let's spend 1-2 minutes talking about Buzz Lightyear because I think this is very important. Because Buzz Lightyear was like one of the main characters of Toy Story 1 and 2. I think 3 he had a very small role, and 4 he had a almost non-existent role. But for Buzz in particular, I feel like they kind of dumbed him down a little bit.
I have a perfect comparison, all right, for this. This is how I feel Buzz is. Buzz in Toy Story 1, 2, 3, when he's not like in Spanish mode or whatever, when he's normal, is like Batman from Batman v Superman. And Toy Story 4, he's Batman from Justice League.
Nah, don't do that.
No, it's not that much. It's not that bad.
Is
But,
it?
but
Okay, it's not that
they,
bad. It's not
that
so
bad.
they
Dumb.
slightly dumbed him down. Like
Slightly?
he was making some
He was-
some mistakes that
He
you
was
know. No,
incapable of doing
really,
anything.
Toy Story 2 was his like apex moment because he, as a leader, took all the toys to Al's toy barn himself. Like he led them. But in Toy Story 4, it doesn't seem like he was the same guy who would have done that. Like he was acting a little dumber.
I think because they made two narrative choices. Okay, they made one choice that they made was the thing about like voices, like the voice in your head, and how Woody has like Woody is like smart, like Woody's like an actual like
Yeah,
a fleshed out character, right? Like Buzz, on the other hand,
but he
was
used to be
never
fleshed
supposed
out.
be-
He used
The
to be
thing
fleshed
is, though, that's not different than who he was, though. Like he always thought he thought he was actually Buzz Lightyear. Like he thought he was.
That's true. He was kind of dumb in the first movie. That's
right?
true.
Like he's always been dumb. So
But in 2, you saw him at his prime.
Yeah, but you think 2 is one of the worst movies. So you,
When it says one of the worst movies,
and then what's the
yeah,
franchise?
it's worse than 1 and 3.
Buzz in this movie, everyone took a bit of a hit. Like his whole gang took a bit of a hit.
Yeah, they
because
became
the
side
story
characters. Yeah,
Was so focused on Woody's perspective, and I think you have to like balance out, like, you would have to balance that out, obviously. But if you do choose to make it like that heavy, like that, the perspective is that heavy on one character,
yeah,
then of course the other character is gonna take a bit of a hit. But then that's like expected.
yeah. And it's worth saying for the people who are very into the side characters, like because Mr. Potato Head's voice actor passed away, and same with Slinky. That's why they didn't really talk. I think the one time Mr. Potato Head talked in this movie was actually archive footage. They used footage from an older movie and they put it back in this movie. So that's why they wanted to respect it. They didn't want to recast him. Because Mr. Potato Head actually talks a lot in all the movies. He's actually one of the funniest characters. Like, he's one of my favorite characters. Like, the amount all of his jokes are mad funny. But in this movie, he didn't talk because his voice actor passed away. Same with Slinky. He had a good role, but not really, that was side roles. But they're all good in the first act, obviously. But they don't talk because their roles are reduced. And then same with everyone else. I thought Jesse was pretty much a 7th line character. Like, they pushed everyone back, like all the main characters. But then again, they introduced new guys like Duke Kaboom. I mean, you should be very happy. You guys are Canadians. You should love him.
That's all you did. Dude,
Yo,
Keanu
listen.
Reeves is the GOAT.
He's from Boxing Day, dude.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, I'm the only one who got the joke. Where did you get?
And
whatever.
Keanu Reeves is on a roll. So
They low-key, the new characters were handled really well.
yeah, I like all the new characters. I thought even the
Like the
bunny
new
and
characters were handled good.
yeah, even the bunny and the duck were good too. They're all good. So okay,
The Bunny and the Duck had some really freaking crazy jokes.
yeah,
Especially when they went to like the stories and stuff, like what they would do.
Yeah,
to
that
the
was
old
good
women,
stuff.
me and Samir were freaking dying.
Yeah, it was good stuff. And
Hilarious.
let's end it on this, right? Let's all give our rankings of the Toy Story quadrilogy. Okay, Zion, you can start it off. Where do you rank all the Toy Story movies?
Well, nostalgia is a huge part of this, but Toy Story 1 has to be number 1 for me, by far.
Yeah.
Then Toy Story 3, because it's just like the perfect ending to the whole, to the trilogy and the story. And then the next two are tough, but they're back and forth. But right now, I'd say Toy Story 2 is third, and then Toy Story 4 is fourth. Yeah, those are fours.
All right, Umar, what about you?
My ranking is 3 is the best, in my opinion. I believe 3 is the best. Okay? So I would go 3, then 1, then 4, then 2.
Not
That's
bad.
my ranking.
What about you, Samir?
I'm gonna go with 1, 4, 3, 2.
1, 4, 3, 2. Then I will. This is one of those rare occasions where all of us have a completely different ranking. But I'm gonna go with 1, Toy Story 1 at number 1. Number 2 would be Toy Story 3. Number 3 would be Toy Story 4, and then cap it off with Toy Story 2 at the bottom. So surprisingly, for the first time in history, all 4 of us have different lists. All right.
Low key though. I feel like
You're all five.
if I'm gonna let this thing sit, and 4 might like just bump everything out of the way.
Yeah, the good thing about 4
the
is
ending was that good. Like
yeah.
the ending was really that good.
the thing about 4 is that acting was perfect, voice acting was perfect, cinematography, like Samir said, was perfect, animation was like so clean. I was like, bro. So
Yo, it's very similar to Infinity War and Endgame. Like Infinity War is the better movie, but Endgame ended at such the ending was so freaking good.
yeah, and even
that
Endgame,
sometimes
you can make a parallel between how Captain America ended up choosing to go back to live his life with Peggy over being an Avengers leader and being with his Avengers family. And Woody it's not really the same because Woody's connection to his Roundup gang is more stronger than Captain America's connection to the Avengers. But
True.
in the end, just like Woody and Cap, they both chose like a more simpler life. Well, yeah, a different kind of life where they put their own happiness first. So in this case, Woody put his own happiness, and that's why I thought one of the best like dialogue sequences in the entire quadrilogy was when Buzz says she will be all right, and everyone, including me, I took it straight forward. He's talking about, oh yeah, Bo will be all right. Then he said it again. He's like, no, Bonnie will be all right. And I was like,
Oh my
yo,
god.
I was like, that is like that because he let it go too. Then and then they'll hug him like, yo,
Yeah.
that's a really good ending, right? And I actually getting chills when you're talking about it. So really, overall for me, I'm thinking this trilogy, this quadrilogy, is like the perfect quadrilogy. You can't think about any other franchise that just hits it out of the park. Home run, home run, home run, home run every single time. I made a tweet about this.
What about Marvel?
Listen. Listen, I'm trying to think of like the best trilogies of all time, like the Dark Knight trilogy, Spider-Man trilogy, Lord of the Rings, like all these great stories, right? And then
Nah, yo,
What?
don't play no game.
I'm not saying Toy Story header. I'm saying Toy Story's in that class. It's
Nah,
in the class.
I'm saying Toy Story is in the class as well.
It is, yeah. So I'm saying it is in the
How
class.
is Toy Story better than freaking Lord of the Rings?
I didn't say better. I said in the class. Like there's like this. Like if someone ever asked me what are the greatest film franchises of all time, I would put Toy Story as one of the greatest film franchises. Like you have to see these 4 movies. If I was going to recommend 4 movies to see, I would tell someone watch these 4 movies because you're going to get an incredible experience, right?
What about Man of Steel and Batman v Superman?
Listen, maybe when the Snyder Cut comes out, I'll talk about it. Alright.
Will, shut up. Yo, how did Zach? Yo, Zach, you made it
I forgot
into a Toy Story freaking.
All right. But we've got my cap
Alright.
also. All right. Finally, last question. Do you want a Toy Story 5? And what would you want in that movie if it would be Toy Story 5?
Oh no.
Chuck, you live in a dream world.
Samir, now you said that. Why don't you start it off? Do you want a Toy Story 5, number 1? And if you do want a Toy Story 5, what do you want it to be about? Like, what is it possible enough to do?
The obvious.
Well, what? What's
Would,
the
do you
obvious?
want a Toy Story? Yeah, what was the obvious? Do you want a Toy Story
They're gonna
5?
go find. They're gonna say,
Yeah,
oh,
but
let's
that
find
was
Woody.
my idea. But let's
That's everybody's
let
idea on the
Samir
planet.
answer first. Samir, do you want Toy Story 5? And if you do want one, would you? What are your some ideas? Like, do you have any ideas about it, or do you just think it should end now?
No, bro, it's a good ending.
All right, Samir, Umar, do you think this should be the ending of the story, or do you want more?
I think you can
Like-
have more, but
Like, do you want a Toy Story 5 in 10 years? Because they only make this every 10 years, which I love about Toy Story. Like, they don't do it like every 2 years. They wait 10 years to
Here's the
make
thing.
movies.
Here's the thing. I think in 10 years, a lot of stuff will change. You don't know who's gonna, which like voice actor will still be alive.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody playing like the main characters. Like I don't want anybody else playing those characters.
Yeah.
I think it should just end with the people that play them. Is good. Maybe like 30 years down the line, they can redo it when everyone forgets.
Yeah, but do you think you want a Toy Story 4 sooner? Like, do you want a Toy Story 4 like soon, or what is your what's your
Well, Toy Story 4 already came out. but
5?
Toy
I mean,
Story
man, 5. Do you want Toy Story 5?
Toy Story 5? Not really.
I think they can end on 5 too. 5 is a like nice round number, not round, but it's like nice.
Dude,
Like,
the thing is, dude, I think when Toy Story 3 came out, we said the same thing.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Perfect ending, this, that. But then, bro, like, I think for Woody, you ended Woody's story. So don't do Woody now. You've ended Woody's story. I think you can do a story now, like a similar story for Buzz.
No, I'm not doing a Buzz solo movie. That's whack.
Yeah, that's so whack.
my idea, actually, we're talking about it before me and John, but is that if you do a 5th movie, you have to like give another 10 years, like not 10 years real life, but 10 years in the story, so that you can let Bonnie become a teenager, and then at that point you have to. I guess Disney knows this internally. Like people still want Woody to be with Buzz and to be with his gang, like a perfect ending where everyone's together, you know. So I feel like Disney knows this, and maybe they have in the back of their head that they have to eventually reunite Buzz and Woody because. Like Buzz and Woody, you gotta keep them together, man. Like they've been like in Toy Story 2. He said when it all ends, I'll have Buzz Lightyear keep me company. Like that didn't happen, you know. Come on. So I think the finale movie should be like something like, and this is like a random pitch. It's nothing crazy, but it's like like Andy is in college at Toy Story 3. If you wait 10 more years, he'll probably be have a kid or something, be married. Who knows what the case will be, right? So if he's a grown adult now, and he maybe goes back to Bonnie's house, his old neighbor, and he tries to see if she still has those toys, so he can get them back. And then Bonnie will be a teenager, just like how Emily from Toy Story 2 with Jessie. Like once you move on, like a girl moves on, she has like her own different interests. Now she's not gonna play with the same toys. So those toys will also be done. Like, and then maybe there'll be like a journey where Buzz and the gang go out to find Woody again because they know Woody wants to. They want to tell Woody that listen, Andy has a kid now, like come back and be with that family, and then the journey would be them finding Woody again and Bo, and then bringing the whole group together to be with Andy and Andy's children or whatever. I think that'd be
that's
good.
like a sick pitch. What the heck?
That would be my out there. I haven't thinking about it for like 2 days. Listen, I was so freaking
Yo,
depressed.
What the heck?
I was so freaking depressed
Bro,
after Toy
Disney
Story 4.
hired freaking Strauss Fruity.
This guy couldn't sleep. He was just thinking.
I
about it
literally
all night.
couldn't sleep. I came back from the movie. I'm like, nah, man, they can't end like this. There has to be one more. Like you can't end this way. Like, I love the ending, but they can't end it always forever like this. You need a forever ending where like Andy has 2 kids, maybe a girl and a boy, like a brother sister combo. Because all the people we have been single childs. We have a single child in Andy and a single child in Bonnie. If you have Andy has 2 kids,
Andy had a sister.
oh yeah, it's true. But if Andy had 2 kids,
But they weren't the same age
Hot for freaking Strauss right now, bro. What the heck?
that's the story I want, man. You gotta bring him back with everyone together. Bring Andy, bring the whole group back. That's the way.
Disney, do it for freaking Strauss Fruity.
Look, man, I'm ready for it. I'll be there first day. But that's pretty much it, guys. I think. Oh, wait, last thing. We're gonna end it right now. What do you rank this movie out of 5? Like, let's everyone give their scores.
4.5.
Freaking 20, dude.
So Zan
20 out of
says 4.5. What about you?
Give it a 5.
5. What about you, Umar?
20 out of 5. That's
All right,
a
so
good one.
5 out of 5. On Rotten Tomatoes, I give it 4.5 out of 5. But I've been like, I'm being converted to 5 out of 5 soon. Like, I'm thinking this is a 5 out of 5. Like, and remember, I think all the movies are 5 out of 5. I think all Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all 5 out of 5 movies. Like, you hit the jackpot. Like, you haven't made one bad movie yet.
Yeah, true.
All right, so what do you guys think about Toy Story 4? Let us know in the comments down below. Do you want Toy Story 5? Let us know that as well.
And what are your rankings?
And what are your rankings? Give us all that, and remember to subscribe. There's a lot more fun stuff coming soon. From myself, from Zion, from Umar, and from Samir, this is the Fruki Bros. We'll see you next time. Peace out.